Good afternoon, this is Chris with Westside Technology Solutions. In today's video, I'm answering the question, which technologies do you specialize in? What do I use for my web development and software development projects? To provide a little bit of background, I did a lot of my learning in C. C is kind of an old, very general purpose programming language. It's really old. You don't really use it a whole lot these days, maybe for some niche things, but a lot of programming languages today are based off of C. It's very verbose. It makes you do and handle a lot of the things that are handled for you automatically in other programming languages. With that being said, it's a very good tool for learning, and I learned so much from it. Just wanted to provide a little context. I'm pretty familiar with C. I don't really use it much these days, but I do have some pretty good skills with it. In my first programming job, we used a language called PHP, which stands for Personal Home Page. And this is a server-side programming language that helps you connect to the database and create database-driven websites or applications. It's really cool. It's still very used today. I haven't used it in a couple of years now, really too much. I used to use it pretty often with Craft CMS, but now I'm kind of moving away from Craft and focusing more on Payload and Node, which I'll get into in a moment. PHP is really awesome. I really like it a lot, and there are some pretty cool frameworks you can use with it. Next up is JavaScript. Yes, I know HTML and CSS. JavaScript was originally introduced to make it so that you can do some more advanced things on web pages that you can't really do with HTML and CSS. It's definitely one of the fundamentals for learning web development, especially for the front end. It's pretty much a must-have. So I learned JavaScript. Once you get the basics, you have a lot of options once you learn JavaScript, and we're going to look at those here as well. The first one is Node.js. This is a JavaScript server environment. So this is kind of like the JavaScript version of PHP. You can spin up a Node.js server written in JavaScript, and you can create a web server. You can create endpoints, you can connect to a database, and you can do your server-side programming in Node, which is you writing JavaScript. Most of the servers I work on now are written in Node.js. I really like it a lot. It's very familiar to me because of JavaScript, and I think it's really easy to pick up if you already know that. Next is React.js. This is like a front-end library for building UI components and UIs. It's built, again, on JavaScript. So if you know JavaScript, you can probably learn React. Honestly, it's not my favorite technology, but it's very widely used, and I'm very familiar with it. One of my favorite things about it is creating components that can be reused throughout your application. That way you just create something one time, and you can import it into other parts of your application and reuse it very effortlessly. It's really nice. One of the other really cool things about React.js is there's another version for mobile development called React Native. It's very similar to React.js for web programming, except for it's just slightly different. So if you know React.js, you can probably build a mobile app using React Native, and it wouldn't be too high of a learning curve. So the React Native code that you write actually transpiles once to Swift and once to Java. So you get an application for iOS and for Android just for writing the JavaScript one time. It's super handy, super convenient, and it's easy to learn if you already know React.js. Next is NEXT.js. This one is definitely one of my favorites for now. It's really cool. It's almost kind of like React.js and Node.js combined. With this, you can create React components that can interact directly with the server, whereas you can't really do that with React.js. This one is cool because in my mind, it kind of combines Node.js and React.js. You write your components that are rendered on the server side, and you have access to server side functionality and utilities that you wouldn't get in client side JS. It can make things like querying data much simpler. Also, it means that your site is not client side rendered, which improves performance and SEO. Finally, I would say the last thing I specialize in is Payload CMS. If you've been following me for a while, I've been talking a lot about this. I used to use Craft. I really like Craft a lot, but I think this is just a better solution. It's a really good content management system, and I'm really trying hard to use it in more of my projects. Anyway, that's just a basic overview of some of the technologies that I specialize in. I also have experience with many other technologies that I didn't really go in depth about: Python, C, like I briefly mentioned, and many more. If you have any questions about these technologies, please feel free to reach out. I love talking about them. It's my passion. Other than that, thank you so much for tuning in and have a great day.